Well. I guess the Mad Lads did it, actually. The Ukrainians and the United States reached a mineral deal. Well, I guess it's time to potentially learn about how probably shitty this is for the Ukrainians. Probably shitty? I don't know. Maybe it's actually okay for the Ukrainians. Who knows? I do know that it was reported that the first arms shipment by the Trump administration has been sent to the Ukrainians worth about, I think, $50 million. I think? I think. At least that's what I remember hearing about. Well, what do we got here? 7 takeaways from the U.S. Ukraine resources deal. So if we recall correctly, when that stupid dog shit like press conference happened between Zelensky, Trump, and the the dipshit troglodyte JD Vance, bro, who just joined politics like 2 years ago, and suddenly he thinks he's now like an expert on Ukrainian on the Russia-Ukraine war. Joins in and had their little spat in the White House, where I'll be honest, they all made themselves look like complete asses of themselves, but to be expected of these dumbass fascists. Nothing new. We have now, a deal, because this is what they originally came in for, to work out details on that deal, and now it looks like something has been worked out. Let's see, what do we got here? The U.S. and Ukraine have signed a deal that will give Washington access to some of the war-torn country's natural resources. Months in the making, it sets up an investment fund that Ukraine hopes will cement U.S. assistance as the country struggles to repel Russia 3 years after the invasion. The Ukrainians have now published the deal, and there have been public statements from both sides. Here are 7 key takeaways. No Ukrainian payback to the U.S. So yeah, in a fit of rage, or like one of the conditions of Trump's like ceasefire proposal was that the Ukrainians need to pay back the U.S. The money that they owe for all the armaments that they shipped over, which I mean is silly. Like, let's be honest here, that was always really just kind of ridiculous, because it's just like, why should they have to pay that? This is very strange and very confusing. Like, American taxpayers are probably saving money for the fact that they have to not, decommission all of that old Cold War era equipment that they're sending to the Ukrainians because they were slated to be decommissioned. So overall, like, you're saving American taxpayers money by just, shipping it over to the Ukrainians so they can use it to fight off the Russians. I mean, it's also what that stuff was literally designed for, to fight in the Cold War, in a hypothetical war against the Russians. But tomato, tomato, potato, whatever. Trump has previously demanded that Ukraine pay back the $350 billion, which is not that much. Yeah, apparently that's his claim. It's not $350 billion. It's more about like $200 billion, I think, at this point. About $200 billion, I think. It is amazing how little of the U.S. defense spending has gone into just like making the Russians look rather silly. Paper tiger of a military. Of aid that he claims has been provided by the U.S. during the war, a condition that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky rejected. But Washington appears to have made a concession. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said the agreement did not dictate that his country pay back any supposed debt. Follow reaction to the deal as it happens. What minerals does Ukraine have? Oh yeah, because he wants rare earth minerals, which Ukraine has some, but it's not like a lot. But whatever. Trump has styled the agreement as a win for his side as well, saying his country will get back much more money in theory than the billions that were provided to Ukraine by his predecessor, Joe Biden. Dude, it came out of the defense budget, man. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. It's so silly. Like, all that money would have just gone to, like, stupid, dumbass, like, Pentagon projects anyways. Like, you literally just proposed $1 trillion budget for the Pentagon. Do I need to like get into like why this whole situation in of itself has just been completely silly and just fabricated by the Trump administration because they, are just mad about the fact that Zelensky thinks that Trump is an idiot? Because that's what it purely is. He's just mad about the fact that he got properly called out as Trump. You're pretty stupid. And you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But who cares? It's all just like stupid, idiotic conjecture, anyways. And also, like, let's think about it. Ukraine doesn't have that many like rare earth minerals because that's what he wants, right? I think there's also like deals for oil and like natural gas. Because here's the thing with like mines for rare earth minerals, it takes a while to establish those kinds of mines, like a long time. It's not as simple as like in Factorio. You go up to resource patch, you place mine down, you give power to the mine, and then it starts extracting resources. And it doesn't work like that. It turns out that this stuff is kind of a little more complicated, but it's silly, very stupid. I'm glad the Ukrainians don't have to pay anything back. Hope there's not another catch though. As far as I can tell, there isn't any quite yet, Boy Meets Mini. But who knows? It's Trump. Like just like on a dime, he can easily just flip, and there can all of a sudden be a catch. Who knows? To be honest, right? Tougher tone from the U.S. towards Putin. The language used by the U.S. in announcing the deal is notably harsher towards Russia than it usually is the case from the Trump administration. The agreement refers to Russia's full-scale invasion, and the U.S. Treasury Department adds that no state or person who financed or supplied the Russian war machine will be allowed to benefit from the reconstruction of Ukraine. Right, because another one of the things that was proposed is from like Trump's deal was, yeah, we're gonna give you money to help rebuild. Where is this coming from? Question mark, question mark, question mark. This will hearten Kyiv, which has demanded more pressure be placed on Russia in talks between Moscow and Washington discussing a possible ceasefire. Now, what's Scotty Boy got here?
Thanks to President Trump's tireless efforts to secure a lasting peace, I am glad to announce the signing of today's historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine, establishing the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. This partnership allows the United States to invest alongside Ukraine to unlock Ukraine's growth assets, mobilize American talent, capital, and governance standards that will improve Ukraine's investment climate and accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. The Development Finance Corporation will participate and help to establish this fund in collaboration with the government of Ukraine. Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing must stop, and both the United States and the government of Ukraine look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both the Ukrainian and American people.
Sure, man. Okay. I guess what they mean is like I've talked about this before, but it's like the initial like proposal. It's just like a 1980s like mafia shakedown, because that's how like Trump wants to like LARP and show himself. I don't know if it's your own Belt and Road. I don't think that's exactly correct to say, Boy Meets Mini. I think it's just like an attempt at a shakedown, I think, is more how I see it. 1980s style or like mafia style shakedown, like get 'em boys type deal, because like Trump likes to LARP and pretend like he's like a mafia boss or some shit. Let's be honest here. So yeah, as said here, oil and gas included alongside minerals, because again, it takes a very long time to establish like the rare earth minerals, the mines. Like I said before, it's not as simple as like Factoria, where you take your mine and plop it down somewhere. No, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But what do you think Trump knows about any of that shit? No, of course not. He doesn't know about any of that shit. Nor does he really care about any of that shit. Who the hell knows? I'll be honest. It's silly, stupid, very dumb. Despite the fact that much of the talk around the deal relates to Ukraine's mineral wealth, the agreement also includes provisions for oil, natural gas, and other hydrocarbons. In all cases, the resources stay in Ukrainian ownership, even though the U.S. will get joint access. The inclusion of oil and gas has been seen as a softening of the Ukrainian position since they were not in earlier drafts of the deal. Senior administration officials told reporters they believe that more value can be derived from these resources if the fighting ends quickly. So it basically it's an acknowledgement that wait, hold on, I guess it actually takes a long time to make these mines for the rare earth minerals. Whoops, guys, let's also go get some oil and gas. What happened to America being the lead head producer of all these energy resources of oil and natural gas? I thought that was the main thing that the Trump administration constantly soyed out for. And whatever, it's standard sort of mafia shakedown. We just wanted to get your resources, rattle them, boys. Blah 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 blah. And nothing really like that. No hindrance to Kiev's EU ambitions. Ukraine has long aspired to join the European Union, and accession talks formally began last June. Right, this is a part of the association agreement. Obviously, the Europeans decided to now fast track that more as a result of the invasion, but they still can't join because of the invasion. That's thanks to Biden abstemiousness, Clinton, and Trump's idiocy. But I mean, we're here now, so got to deal with the consequences. There were also concerns in Kiev that the resources deal could hinder Ukraine's ability to join the EU if it gave preferential treatment to U.S. investors, as Kiev and Brussels already have a strategic partnership on raw materials. But the deal's text says that the U.S. acknowledges Ukraine's intention to join the EU and the need for this agreement not to conflict with that. It also says that if Ukraine needs to revisit the terms of the deal because of additional obligations as part of joining the EU, then the U.S. agrees to negotiate in good faith. Yeah, good faith. Additionally, Kyiv says the U.S. will support additional transfers of investment and technology in Ukraine, including from the EU and elsewhere. So basically, Ukraine is probably going to be able to finally go through with the association agreement, which was one of the main catalysts for the war to begin with, because Poroshenko, who promised to do that during the campaign trail, all of a sudden backed off when he got coerced by the Russians, saying hey, you better do our deal because wouldn't it be a darn shame if you got disappeared? He got scared into doing that deal, basically. And as a result, the Euromaidan happened, and the separatist uprisings started as a result. We all know about the Euromaidan. This is the reasoning as to why it happened. But yeah, the European Association Agreement was backed off of by Poroshenko because, let's be honest, he is a Russian stooge. He was a stooge planted in by the Russians because that's the shit that they do. They pull that shit all the fucking time with differing polities and countries that they have under their influence. There will always be Russian-backed leaders, and people I find it funny that lefties never really complain about that stuff because that's basically a lot of the same behavior that the U.S. does as well in South America. Yeah, meddling in military invasion, causing separatist groups to arrive. Shocking. Where have you seen that behavior before? Yeah, exactly. We've seen this before, but oh man, it's really problematic when the U.S. does it. But if other imperialist sort of capitalistic powers do the same thing, they had to do it because of conditions that were outlined to them by the West. The West didn't really give them a choice. Yeah. I've heard this dumbass song and dance before. Don't give me any of this stupid bullshit. Stupid dumbass Marxist Leninists and whatnot. Those people are they're so goofy, man. I hate them so much, dude. A U.S. military commitment back on the table. The U.S. has framed the deal as an essential one to sign if Ukraine is to continue to receive its military assistance. Ukrainian First Deputy Prime Minister Yulia Severdenko, who flew to Washington, D.C. to sign the deal, said it envisioned the U.S. contributing new assistance in the future, such as air defense systems. Yeah, because guess what? The Russians, they do a lot of drone attacks. A lot. Like suicide drone attacks. This, too, would mark a change in strategy for Trump, who has sought to wind down military support for Ukraine since returning to the White House. That's so much for being the anti-war president, I guess. But whatever. It's rhetoric. No one cares. His sycophants aren't going to give a shit about any of that stuff. It's just good that the Ukrainians are, well, getting the help that they deserve, I guess. That they should be getting. Let's be honest here. One outstanding question is what the accord will ultimately mean for the state of the war. The Kremlin has not yet responded to the agreement. I don't think who the hell cares about like what Putin has to say about any of this, right? Oh man, the U.S. is again escalating when they should not have, or something. Blue is more than likely what they're gonna say. It doesn't matter what they have to say. Like they who cares, right? Who cares about whatever idiotic bluster comes from the Russians? Like they don't actually like. They're not honest. This deal does nothing to counter Russia. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by countering Russia, right? Like, the U.S. weapons being sent to the Ukrainians are, like, more or less made specifically to destroy and just wreck, like, sort of Russian military equipment and doctrine. And, I mean, the thing that they're looking for the most is what? It's air defense systems. That's, like, the biggest thing that the Ukrainians are looking for, but it's whatever. Germany is threatening to send their longest range missiles to Ukraine. Oh, is there like specifics in the deal where they might not get like ATACMS anymore? Are we like sort of back to the like arbitrary sort of like nonsense where Ukraine's not allowed to get like certain like ballistic missiles or some shit? Is that what's going on? Thanks, Biden, for making this like stupid idiotic standard. Yeah, like, dude, I fucking hate Biden, dude. He's such a fucking dumbass, man. Aw, man, you know, let's have this Clintonite strategy and just do all this like arbitrary, idiotic bullshit in order to, you know, make it harder for the Ukrainians for no reason. Thank you, Biden. Very cool. That's my president. We love Joe Brandon. We love Joe. Woo, Joe. Yay. But whatever. Stinking, dumbass, like whatever the heck things. As always. Just complete, utter nonsense. And what can you do? But the U.S. can still walk away any time. It appears there are no concrete security guarantees from the U.S., which is something Ukraine and Europe have long been pushing the White House to provide. Trump has long been reluctant to give the same military commitment that Biden had given. Instead, his interest in staying the course with U.S. support for Ukraine is more implicit due to the economic commitments set out in this deal. That means there would be still a fragility about the commitment of Ukraine's most important ally. Oh, that's cool. So, like, at any point in time, this can just completely shit the bed and just not be effective and just not go through anyways, because Trump is... if his fifis get hurt and he gets upset and real mad, he can just be like, well, you know what? Ukraine is stupid and stinky as always. I hate the Ukrainians. I hate them. I don't like them. They're mean and they're bad. So we're not going to give them any of the assistance that they want. Haha, you suck. Or whatever. Is that not the meme we're going with? Great. That's cool. Fantastic. Very cool. Profits to be reinvested in Ukraine. One intriguing point highlighted by the Ukrainian government is... that for the first decade of the Reconstruction Investment Fund, profits will be fully reinvested in Ukraine's economy, even in new projects or reconstruction. This could be potentially significant if there is no financial benefit for the U.S. for 10 years. However, this provision does not appear to be in the agreement signed in Washington. Yeah, well, of course, because Trump wants all the profits for himself. Or to be returned to the U.S., quote-unquote. Whatever stupid nonsense. Although it might be part of an additional technical deal, Deputy Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko said on social media these terms will be subject to further discussion. After that initial 10-year period, Kiev says profits may be distributed between the partners. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Fox News late on Wednesday that the deal was a signal to the American people that we have a chance to participate, get some funding and the weapons, compensation for those, and be partners with the success of the Ukrainian people. Speaking at the White House on Thursday, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller described the deal as repayment to the U.S. for the hundreds of billions of dollars that our taxpayers suspect subsidize the war. Again, like I said before, these are all funds that came out of the military budget. It's so stupid. Who cares about getting the money back? Oh no, you lost $200 billion. It's not $350 billion like these morons are suggesting. That's a lie, of course, because they want to over embellish and play victimhood grievance politics as always. And yeah, like you're saying, Boy Meets Minnie, why does the US need all that money back, dude? We rob everyone. I don't know how many TikToks have there been of different people talking about how much this has paid the average American taxpayer per month. There's been a TikTok saying you want to know how much this has cost? It's been about 14 cents a month. Oh man, not 14 cents a month. No, it's not been a few bucks. It's been less than a few bucks. It's been basically nothing in terms of the stuff that's been sent to the Ukrainians. So oh man, but we need to get all the money back because whatever, it's nonsense. Yeah, a few bucks a year. It costs nothing. It costs basically nothing to basically make the Russians look like complete buffoons on the battlefield. But whatever. Like I said before, for Trump, the only thing that matters to him in this particular instance is he just wants his mafia sort of 1800 style mafia takedown shtick. That's why he does it. That's literally it, by the way. He wants to be a big boy who's just I'm really good at making deals. I make so many deals. Look at me making my deals. I'm so good at deals. I deal, and I wheel, and I deal, and I deal, and I wheel. I'm really good at dealing and wheeling. That's why he wants to still pretend he's a big boy on the block. That's really the only reason. So yeah, here are the critical mineral deposits, of course, for differing parts of Ukraine. As you can see, some of them are in Russian-controlled areas. Going to be kind of hard to get those. And also, here's the thing. I've talked about this before, but why the hell would companies want to invest in an area that still has an active war zone going on? First they have to get a ceasefire dealt with and taken care of. Because again, they're still fighting in Ukraine. Going to be kind of hard to establish the mines necessary to get these critical mineral deposits being so close to, well, a lot of areas of combat near the front lines. Good luck. I remember that Trump was trying to say that this is also a deterrent to try to make sure that the Russians don't invade because they might kill American workers if they go after the mines, folks. And that means Article 5 will have to be called, which I don't even know if Trump would follow through with anyways. That's a whole question of itself. Would he? Probably not, because he hates the Ukrainians and he hates Volodymyr Zelensky for, I don't know, probably stupid reasons. Definitely stupid reasons. Because, he has to listen to, all the 3 IQ, schizos on Twitter talking about day-Nazism or whatever the fuck, but Ukrainians have to deal with the consequences of idiotic American belligerence as always. But we're gonna get a great deal out of this, folks. We're getting so much out of this. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic, folks. It's gonna be so good for America. We love this for us, don't we, folks? But yeah, like I said before, complete nonsense. This is not going to be enough of a deterrent. I don't even I do find it quite surprising that the Ukrainians did, end up going ahead with this deal because, the fact that there's, no security, security guarantees to, make sure that the Russians don't do another invasion if a ceasefire is reached. Like, who knows if, or like, what exactly is going to happen. Like, I mean, at least it's a move forward, positive for the Ukrainians, and they're able to get, like, arms shipments again because of it. So I suppose you can look at that as, like, a sort of positive development. But is this, like, deal overall, like, a good thing for Ukraine or whatever? I mean, it's better than, like, the complete bluster and nonsense that was happening before. So I guess in that respect, it's positive. And they're going to be able to get arms shipments again. So I guess it's good in that respect, but otherwise, like, I don't know. This deal seems like rather mediocre at best, to be honest. But who really knows? At this point, all we can really do is just, like, kind of wait and see see what happens. Because the thing with Trump is that he can just change his mind at any point in time and just, like, get mad when Volodymyr Zelensky just says, like, or like JD Vance says, like, you didn't say thank you enough, which means we need to just, like, let you suffer more or some shit. Who the hell knows what's going to happen at this point? Like, at this point, all we can really do is just wait and see what happens. Maybe there's going to be functional improvements as a result of this. Hopefully there are functional improvements because of this. And, we just gotta wait and see. Who knows exactly what'll happen. Just gotta wait and see.